Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz and I'm joined by Dylan, Falco and Kaiser. The Mad Lions beat G2 Esports and make it to the World Championship. Kaiser, does it become less fun to beat G2 after you've done it a couple of times?
I mean, I think it becomes actually more fun because it's really becoming a rivalry, I would say, like beating them or like them beating us like sometimes, because like at the start we were always getting like beaten by them, and then like in I think summer before Worlds or maybe in spring, I think we beat them in a best of 5, and then like that was like the happiest moment of like my career this far, and I wanted to like repeat it like each time more. And yeah, like I don't think our happiness like is getting decreased, especially because we reached Worlds now, right? I think that's for sure also a factor. And yeah, getting to watch G2 come from the losers bracket as well, like watching their like progress again, because like they're really good at making comebacks, right? So I think that's always really fun to watch. So yeah.
Perfect answer. I love how you answered that. Indeed, the rivalry ever growing. Can I get your first reaction about making it back to the World Championship?
I mean, it's obviously like a really good feeling, right? Maybe like we didn't really expect it after this like kind of rough start to the season, and like coming after MSI, right? With our extended quarantine as well. Like we kind of felt not as great, right? I think we are back in form now. We are really good at playing playoffs as well, right? Or like on stage. So we are really happy that that the playoffs are being played again on stage. So. Yeah, I think coming to Worlds, thank God we don't have to go through planes, because I think we would get blocked by those wildcard regions again. But yeah, I think we have a good shot at making it far.
Yeah, calling it out. Not back in the planes, please, for us. Let's take a look at some of the images of the game. And Dylan, Falco, I'd love to get kind of your take on why you think it was Mad that reigned superior in the end, and maybe shoot some questions towards Kaiser in terms of the priorities.
Yeah, so it really looked like, especially in the earlier games of this series, that G2 put a pretty heavy priority on like pushing bot lanes, with, for example, the Varus first pick in game 1, which you guys then obviously banned for the rest of the series, and the Tristana pick. And I think they were pathing bot like almost every single game. You took some dives under your turret. I was just wondering, like, obviously you're still in playoffs, so you can't speak too much about draft. Do you feel versus a team like G2 that you guys are okay with taking the more scaling end of the matchup, playing stuff like the Ezreal or Rakan, for example, that becomes good late game, or the game where you guys pick Kaiser into Tristana, like these matchups where you get pushed but become very useful later?
So like our approach to this series was actually that we thought they would focus more on mid lane, because like that's what they did in the season, throughout the season, and I think they changed their approach. So we got surprised game 1, like we straight up got dove level 2, and then the game was kind of hard for us on bot lane especially. So we chose like more scaling picks for sure. And we also like told our like solo laners, for example, like can you maybe TP, and we told Yoya, like can you maybe cover us on this side, right? Because we didn't expect it beforehand. Like we just thought they would maybe move to mid lane, for example, get some vision, because that's kind of what their playstyle was. So yeah, for sure, we picked safer bot lanes like the Ezreal, like the Rakan, picks that can't really be punished as much. And yeah, I think it worked out for us in the end, because their dives didn't really work. They overforced a lot, and we didn't really like fall behind too much. So yeah, and then we kept scaling into the game, and as we got like to the mid game, late game team fights, we just outscaled.
You said in the coming into the series, you thought they'd focus mid jungle primarily, and it seemed you guys were like really ready to take the Twisted Fate versus LeBlanc matchup as like a core part or trait of the series, because obviously LeBlanc is super meta right now. Like, what do you think was different between the game where this went well and the game where it didn't? Because like in my eyes, from what I noticed, is like banning Braum Tahm Kench the second time through just made it so much easier for TF to be impacted at full in the game. And then also I think like the early game went a lot better, so you guys got to that point where you had 4 Mercury treads, you could just group up and win.
I mean, that game was still a bit rough. I think the LeBlanc actually still did a lot.
Yeah.
She had like Death Cap, she had Meis, and I think we were like a bit lucky because we lost like a dragon fight for like 5-0 or something. That was like a bit of a disaster. But yeah, I agree that like the Tahm Kench and Braum are really good picks into TF, right? Because we could never engage really. And in this game, like especially later on, the LeBlanc, while she was being useful, like once she got picked, like they didn't really have anything left in the tank. So we just had to focus on getting the vision onto this LeBlanc and like tracking her down, right? It didn't always work, right? She got a lot of free chunks on us, but in the end, like we got 1 pick, got Baron, and then even the most fed LeBlanc can't really stop a siege by 5 people.
Like I saw in like the pivotal team fight, LeBlanc was like dashing around trying to get to the back line, but like it just actually couldn't happen. Yeah.
No, great question. In terms of kind of your strength level, I think there were a lot of doubts throughout the regular season. You've talked about it yourself as well, the whole quarantine story, of course, but the fact that as per usual, you can't be at the top of your game at the beginning of the split in that situation. The second half was much, much better. How far do you think you're off from kind of peak Mad Lions who won the spring split?
I mean, I'm not sure because like even in spring split, like in the series against Rogue, I don't think we were at our peak, right? I think especially bot lane, I think we got like solo killed every single game. Like that shouldn't happen, obviously. So it just depends on like who's peaking, right? I think like this series we all like played pretty well, especially after the first game, right? So I mean, I don't think we're that far. I think we can still play better, right? Like we still have to figure out some things about drafting and like figure out something how we want to play like later the game team fights or mid game team fights. But or like especially early game, I think we're like sometimes struggling. I think of course like our mid late game, usually we come back, we are team fighting, you know. So yeah, I think we just have to talk about like how to not get run over by these LPL teams who always play like super aggressive, right? And then we should be fine for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that is also the thing that you probably noticed at MSI as well. Like, that's the thing you need to work on because you can't give teams from across the world an inch the way you can sometimes to teams in the LEC, even though they also give you a lot to fight for. But, of course, you have some time to prepare for Worlds. The key player of the series was Armut, 65% of the votes. Yeah, this Chachi's really helping, it seems.
I mean, for sure. But I think like it's also because he got his comfort again, right?
Yeah.
He picked the Na, he picked the Wukong. I mean, once he gets a bit ahead, like it's just game over against Armut or yeah. I mean, it's just he's super strong on these picks, and that they like put Wunder on weak side like 4 games in a row, and like gave him like the worst matchups possible into like his picks, I guess, like into this now and Wukong, for example. I think it just made it easy for Armut to like just get into the game and just become this team fighting beast that he's known for, right? And yeah.
I heard rumors that Chachi had like 3 pro views and like 2 VODs all open. Like, do you feel like having a positional coach actually, obviously you're not Armut, right? But did you see any of his work or feel like actually having a positional coach like that was useful during the series itself?
I mean, I can't speak for Armut, of course,
yeah,
but
of course.
he told me already that like Chachi is a really smart player, right? That he also 1v1 against him, for example. Like I think they talk a lot about matchups and stuff like this. So I think that's really like good to have as a like especially as a top laner, right? Where you like matchup knowledge is like all you really like need kind of, or like I mean of course you need more, right? But I think matchup knowledge is like really important for top lane especially. So yeah, I think Chachi helped him a lot in that, and you could see it in his gameplay that he was like more confident, right? In picking like I mean I guess like
picking Wukong versus Jay is crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy. But I mean he was like for example also the Tahm Kench and into or like Gwen to Tahm Kench, for example, which he was not as comfortable with before. So it helped for sure, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps for sure. It was only a joke, of course. I'm sure Chachi is helping, but we know that Armut is a fantastic team fighter. And that does mean that the spring finalists, the Mad Lions and Rogue, will face off in a rematch next week for a spot in the final. We've got some bombshells when we look at the bracket as well, because G2 will go down to the lower bracket. They still need 1 series to make Worlds, and that could be Fnatic versus Vitality. I'm just putting it out there. It could also very well be Vitality versus G2 or Misfits versus G2. So that's maybe the first question I want to pose to you two. Maybe Dylan, you first. We've seen now the Misfits putting up a great fight versus Rogue, G2, who you can never count out, and we still haven't seen Fnatic and Vitality. What's the situation down there in that lower bracket?
I think before I saw yesterday's set, I would think that Fnatic is the most talented out of these teams, and if they play their best game, that they should be favored with their players, and especially a lot of success they had in the first half of summer. But after yesterday, I think Misfits played very well, and I have to put, I guess, all 3 teams honestly in contention. I think it's going to be a banger.
Kaiser.
I mean, I kind of have to agree. I think I would say Vitality is a bit worse, maybe. I think they are 2 coin flip, maybe. I think it depends on like which Vitality shows up, obviously. But I think I would still say that Fnatic is more consistent, even though they're also coin flip, right? But I think Misfits is for sure the best team out of those. I was really impressed by them yesterday, like taking Rogue to 5 games, and I think they should have even won the last game, right? So yeah, I would say that Misfits is like the strongest looking team out of the 3.
And then out of the 4, I guess G2 takes over from there? Or?
Yeah, I have to still give G2 credit. I think, although they did lose the run today, I think they definitely had windows to win. a few of those games, and I still think they're a very strong team.
It's just they're so good in lower brackets, apparently, right?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even be surprised if they make it to finals. So.
Yeah. But what a storyline that would be. They absorb, I feel like they're a team that absorbs, the situations very, very well in losses and can convert that then later on. I do want to talk about your matchup next as well. Rogue versus Mad Lions. We get the rematch of the finals. And there were a lot of people that had a lot of question marks towards Rogue after their Misfits performance. What is your honest opinion about how strong they are and what, if you're going to beat them?
I mean, I think, like, excluding us, of course, I think they're still the strongest team because they just know how to play the macro game, and I think they're just the cleanest team, right? I think they have shown some struggles on stage even previously, right? Against us, for example, or against maybe even against G2 sometimes. So I think they just have to be more comfortable, I guess, on playing their side on stage, and like some players just underperformed, I guess. And but I think if they can fix these issues, or like even like playing against us, for example, like they still have 2 chances of making it to finals, right? So I think they should be able to get back to their not on-stage performance, I guess, because I think their on-stage performance is like usually lacking or in playoffs. But I think they're for sure like still the strongest team.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go, I do want to know about kind of the belief in being able to get the back-to-back championships. I think for a lot of people, it was a letdown seeing how the Mad Lions approached the start of summer because of the whole situation. And I don't think that many people believe necessarily in you being able to be kind of a generational team that can win these multitudes of championships. How big is that belief for yourself and for the team of Mad Lions?
I mean, we are really confident in ourselves because I feel like everyone is always underestimating us because they just see G2 or Rogue winning the regular season or something, and they think maybe that's all of it. But like, I think we are like really clutch players in every single role, and I think that's what's most important in playoffs, right? And that's why I think we have like the best chance out of any team to really like get the championship again.
Mm-hmm. Dylan, what do you think?
Actually, I actually have a question. Is what do you think it is that leads to these sorts of clutch comebacks? Because I know often if teams have like a strong bot lane or a strong mid jungle, it's very defined and easy to see what the factor is. It's these players are performing well or they're drafting well, and this is contributing to the victory. But I've seen so many games of you guys in playoffs and international events, and even when we scream you guys, honestly, that you guys will just come back from these huge deficits. And I was wondering why, or if you have any reasoning on what you think actually brings that strength.
I mean, I think it's hard to say because we don't really know ourselves. I think we're just really good at team fighting. Like, for example, Armut, he really knows how to like find these TP flanks, and I think like he's like a really big factor on why we like sometimes win these important team fights, right? Like his Na, his Wukong. Like he always tries to like tell me where to get this TP ward or something, and then we are just looking for like a desperation engage or something, right? So I think he's doing a really good job at that. But of course, like we're also like pretty smart about like when to give up, for example, like when to cross map, so we don't like, let's say enemy team is spiking there on 2 items, we don't even have like 1 completed or something. We don't like try to fight, right? We just try to scale back into the game and extend the game a bit more, and then like look for a good fight when we are like on our terms, right? Like when we have our 2 items, and yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, that we are like just good at team fighting and knowing when to like give up.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful to watch, I have to say. It's been a treat today as well. Congratulations once again, making it to Worlds and en route to possibly another championship. And thank you very much, Dylan, for joining us as well. Okay, well, that was all from us here tonight, but be sure to tune in for the LCS and Evil Geniuses versus 100 Thieves. What a banger. We'll be back tomorrow for the final series of round 1, Fnatic versus Vitality. Don't miss it. Bye. In spring, we saw the dawn of a new era in the LEC, but in summer, the old champions are looking to reclaim the throne. One way or the other, this series is a sign of what's to come.
When becomes lightning connects, Carzzy's now going to be in trouble. He leaps back out to safety. 3-stack looking for 4 concussive blows. Clean dive. Health bars, are they going to be enough? But it's easy. Reckless with a double 3 minutes into the game. Oh, it might be dead here. Catching in, just the TP into solo kill. Oh,
yeah, that was clean.
Watch now coming out. Killjoy now going to try to back away, but Cap's instantly there to finish the job as soon as he comes out of stage. Just Kaiser getting obliterated.
Good fight, good fight.
He's trying to pitch for the Qs, but Jankos secures it. Armut now in the midst of the entire G2 team. He's quick on the retreat, but Jankos is quick on the follow. Wonder now chasing him down as well. That's Armut gone. That's Caps to the back line. They want to delete this LeBlanc and get the hell out, but it's just not going to happen. G2 have dominated this first one. G2 need to turn the fight, but this is a man advantage for the Mad Lions. Instantly, Carzy into the backside, Caps Reckless pulling back.
It felt like Mad was reading the play well. The flash
over the wall instantly.
Okay, I have my flash soon. I'm gonna flash on someone, okay? With my knock-up ready.
Reckless, Caps, what can they do? Yanko's now locked up. Yanko's now taken out before the fight even breaks out. Instantly, Carzy into the back line, and just like that, the Mad Lions bite back in game 2. The Caps waiting in the darkness. The chains connect, and it'll be the chains that take him down to his grave. Double kill for Reckless in the end.
But Mad Lions are going to keep forcing. Wonders up in 20. Humanoid turning.
Gold card immediately. They're going to blow Caps up. That's a shutdown. That is massive. That is clutch from Humanoid.
Eyes on Caps. He's the only carry left. Mad Lions 5v4. Nexus exposed.
Wonder running in. Diego trying to get something done, but the CC is there. Caps now taking out Kaiser before the fights are starting. Sleepy They're going to finish the Nexus. They're going to go to match point. Armut's going to be big with Mickey trying to buy as much time as he can. Caps isolated from the rest of the team. In goes Armut, and it's big. The knockback comes in from the Jace, but Armut going to finish the kill anyway. The extra range on the Q, making it work. Carzy now on a rampage. G2 falling apart. Armut into the backside, and that might just be it. They're getting knocked back. That's the second proc.
We don't talk anymore.
Mad Lions that will reign supreme in the 5th. They will lock world for themselves.